Welcome back. Sunil Subramaniam is joining us right now, Deputy CEO with Sundaram Mutual Fund. Mr. Subramaniam, good morning. Great to have you with us here and good to see you back. What do you make of the market, Mr. Subramaniam, and the rapid rebound that we've seen after a near 9% correction?
Well, I think it's partly because I think the market had corrected itself in terms of the last quarter's results were slightly disappointing. I think the market was expecting something to happen, and when it's not happening, they got a bit panicky. That was one thing. The second thing is, of course, in the post-budget kind of a scenario, which the market was seeing that there were a lot of uncertainty in terms of various policy actions and political corrections. But if you look at it now, the rebound has happened because I think slowly the market is beginning to realize, though the consensus estimates are yet to show that this quarter's earnings should start reflecting, and we are slightly contrarian here in terms of the market, saying that we expect about 5 to 7% earnings growth to actually reflect in this last quarter of the year, because all these softening commodity prices should make their sense. And I think there are players in the market who are sensing that, and I think you were just saying that ETFs have come in terms of $500 billion over the last few weeks. All of this is, ETFs are essentially long only money, right? It's not the hot money which comes in based on markets' relative valuations vis-a-vis other emerging economies. So I think there is a gradual feeling that the earnings rebound should start happening with the cost factors coming down, and then soon, in another quarter, you're going to see the discounting of FY17 numbers happening. So as the market then builds up to they look at earnings growth which they expect from the future, I think you'll see more long-only money making its allocations into the economy, into the stock markets.
Fourth quarter will be poor. Fiscal 15 earnings exit rate will be about 6-7%. And I guess, how do you say, should we talk about earnings, or should we only talk about earnings in financial year 17 now?
I think you should talk only about 17 now, because look at it this way, the markets are always a predictor of the future. Your price earnings ratio itself is future earnings discounted.
What I meant was, Mr. Subramaniam, should we only bring up earnings talk after April 1, 2016? Not talk about fiscal 17 earnings now, but talk about earnings, bring up the topic of earnings only then.
See, it all depends on where you are approaching the markets from. If you're a short-term operator, then maybe not. But if you're a long only, like a mutual fund, which is what I represent, right, and we are looking to create investor wealth over a 3 to 5 year time frame, then we need to look forward only. We can't look at the current. The current has a mix of news flows, liquidity, and earnings. Whereas the future is largely earnings driven, and earnings driven from an economic change perspective, driven by government policy action and driven by corporate action in terms of sales and profitability growth. So as a mutual fund, our outlook is always long-sighted, far-sighted in terms of where can we create that additional value for our investors.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Are flows into equity mutual funds still pretty slow, still pretty strong?
Yes, absolutely. If you look over the last 1 week, 10 days, what we have seen is our flagship funds like our mid-cap and our Smile fund have reached their lifetime highs in terms of size. Mid-cap has crossed 3,000 crores, Smile has crossed 1,000 crores. Our portfolio management, which was about 200 crores a year ago, has just crossed 1,000 crores. So clearly strong flows have been coming in on the back of the returns that you've been generating in these flagship funds, and I think that trend is going to continue in the near future.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, and this is this you're talking about asset size. Obviously, it also includes gain in the portfolio value on stocks that you hold. It also includes new assets, right? New funds that you receive.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at it about a year ago, assume that the mid and small cap segment has roughly given you 100% return, right? So you can assume that a doubling of the levels would be automatically what the market action should have done. And like I said, our portfolio management is about 200 crores, our Smile fund is about 300, and our mid-cap was about 1,600. So even if you take the 100% gains, you're saying 200 would become 400, 300 would become 600. So the incremental rise of another 500 crores in portfolio management, or a 400 crores in our Smile fund, or another 1,000 crores in mid-cap has all come due to fresh flows. So partly it's market action, but the rate of growth has been far higher than market action. So clearly we are seeing strong support for our flagship schemes from across a range of investors.
Across a range of investors. You know, and you said the PMS is now 1,000 crores plus, right? Now that, I guess there's a minimum ticket size of 25 lakhs there. That's the SEBI rule.
Yes.
Yeah? I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's usually
yeah. Despite
HNIs
that, we have seen
slightly more savvy investors.
So obviously, clearly, yes, the savvy investors have come in, and the interesting part is, that they came in over the last year. While, at the beginning of last year, not everybody was so bullish about the country, right? But a lot of the money that we got from investors started from last January itself. So that's where, I would credit our efforts in terms of going out to the market, explaining to them that India is on a recovery path, election or no election. And we got, for example, we launched our microcap funds in the first quarter, last quarter of last year. We raised about 150 crores and they've delivered about 130% return. And almost about, say, 65% we have paid back as dividends to those investors. So the point is that I think getting to investors and explaining to them the underlying fundamentals has worked in our favor. And we've had a lot of people who believed that and then committed money to us. And we now have a very happy lot of investors who've enjoyed the returns based on the fact that we told them that, India is back on track.
Markets work in cycles, right? I mean, you have a few years of great performance, then you have a few years of nothing. And that's why I guess mutual funds are marketed and sold as long-term investment vehicles. So you stick in, you hold it for a period of 10 years. I mean, if someone bought a mutual fund scheme, say in 2003, 2004, and held on all the way till now, I mean, I guess any fund across the board in the industry would have done very well. I mean, the investor would be pretty happy with the returns. But if he sold in, 2005 or he sold in 2008 and then he bought back in 2010, returns would be very subpar. Are we at that point once again, Mr. Subramaniam, for people looking to put money to work, right? Are we at that point again where prices have risen considerably? And you must now have a very long-term time horizon if you are committing fresh money, fresh investments. A year, 2 years, 3 years just won't cut it anymore. And I'm not talking about the general philosophical principle that equities are a long-term investment class. I'm talking about it practically. Okay, I think we lost Mr. Subramaniam's line there. I hope he heard my question. It was a pretty long one, so I don't want to repeat it, but I will if he's not heard it. 87.34 is what the Nifty is trading at, about 16.5 odd points lower. It's about a 0.25% odd down at this point. Let's put the Sensex up on your screen, about 20 odd points lower. It's about 28,780. And then you've got broader markets, mid caps, small caps, Nifty Junior. They're all in the red, but barely so. I mean, this is flat at best. You can't really describe this as a market which is selling off, not in the least. Declines about 51% in the BSE 500 against advances which are lagging. 62.37 on the rupee for now. It's again absolutely flat at this stage. So this is what you've got going. Let's take a quick break at this point. We'll be able to fix that line through to Chennai with Mr. Sunil Subramaniam on the other side. We're back in 2. Sunil Subramaniam is with us right now. We lost the line earlier. You're back with us, Mr. Subramaniam. My question, just for our viewers, you heard the question, but just for our viewers was, since markets work in cycles and you go through long periods of the market doing nothing and then bursts of huge outperformance like what we've seen now for the last 18 months, are we at that point where prices have risen so much that, the practical advice would be to come in with fresh investments into equity through mutual funds only if you have a very long-term view, not 2-3 years. That won't just do. What's your view?
Thanks, Prashant. I did hear your question fully. And first of all, I just wanted to thank you because I think you have made a very brilliant case of mutual fund marketing here, right? I think what you said is bang on, that a mutual fund investor should have a longer term outlook when he comes in because he shouldn't be timing the market. And let me use an example, and I'm going to make my answer a slightly bit elaborate here because your question was elaborate and deserves an elaborate answer, right? If you look at it, and I'll answer it on two perspectives, the large cap portfolios and the mid and small cap portfolios, right, which are generally riskier, higher risk reward ratios. On a large cap perspective, and let's just use the Sensex or the Nifty as a kind of surrogate for that. If you look at the analysis of people coming in and you take a rolling returns methodology, let me explain the rolling returns. That is, if you start at a period and then make investments every day, and then say assume you have 3 years as your continuous investments period, right, or you have 5 years or you have 7 years. We did a lot of analysis at the back and we found that if in the Nifty you had done a rolling returns thing, that is every day you had invested regardless of market cycles, if you had stayed for about 6 to 7 years, you never ever lost money in the market. And mind you, this is in a large cap segment which is subject to FII flows, to news flows, to liquidity issues. With all of those uncertainties and the kind of volatility that the large cap indices show, if a mutual fund investor had stayed invested for let's say 7 years, he never ever lost money, never. So that's the first case that you make in terms of the fact that mutual funds should look long term, even in a very index kind of, which is not actively managed, he never lost money. That's one. Now come to actively managed funds, and I will not look at the large cap, I look at the mid and small cap, because true active management comes when the mutual fund not only relies on an economic outlook and an industrial outlook, but looks at stocks and then buys them with a long-term exposure, right? And I'll take our mid-cap fund. You know, our mid-cap fund, which is one of the flagships, probably the first branded mid-cap fund in the industry, on a 10-year basis, number one in terms of SIP returns, if you had NVIDIA invested, was launched in 2003. And assume you take the same rolling returns methodology, that is, from 2003 to date, an investor came in and waited for 5 years, not the 7 years that the Nifty needed, but just 5 years. At any day from 2003 to now, if he had stayed for 5 years, regardless of if it's a bull market or a bear market, his entry, if he stayed for 5 years, he never ever lost a single rupee from his mid-cap fund. And mind you, mid-cap is one of the, what do you call, smaller companies than large caps, are more volatile, need specific selection skills. So once you trust a mutual fund manager with your money, and over a 5-year period, the average returns that the investor got was 20% plus. Right, handsomely beating any fixed deposit or national savings certificate or any. So the point is that what you made is very right. If an investor stays for the long term and gives it to a professional management who also believes in diversifying across, you know, a set of stocks and uses his knowledge and projection skills to pick stocks and hold them, then definitely mutual fund investors can make much better returns than from any fixed income, fixed deposit kind of a return. So market timing from a mutual fund investor perspective, he can just cover that and he doesn't need to worry about whether it's a bull market or bear market. All he needs to do is buy into a well managed mutual fund, stay for 5 years, and he's sure to have, you know, on an average got at least 20% plus returns. And the reason for this, Prashant, is that mutual funds, when they know that customers come in with this kind of an outlook, have the ability to then to take those investments also on a longer period. So if you take our mid-cap fund, the top 10 holdings, average holding period of those stocks is 4.5 years. Right? So it's not just that the investor's philosophy is also managed by the investment manager's philosophy, that in the long term is where you make money. And that's where superior stock selection skills come to the aid of the fund manager.
The fund like that you were referring to, was that a Sundaram fund? And were you saying, well, in any 5-year period since its inception, investors wouldn't have lost money, and the average return in any 5-year period is 20%? Have I got those numbers and facts right?
Yes, absolutely. The average return over this period, there will be about 2,000 such 5-year periods over a, whatever, 12-year time frame, right? 2003 to 2015, correct? On a rolling returns basis. Yeah. And the other point which I wanted to make, Prashant, is to round off the answer, is you mentioned about the markets having risen up, right? And so is it the right time for investors to come with a shorter term outlook? Yes, absolutely. At no time investors should come with a less than a 3-year outlook. So obviously you should have a 5-year outlook. But the key element here in terms of market rise and wanting to reassure investors that just because the market has gone up 100% in the mid and small cap, is that the future? And then you're saying the valuation gaps narrowing between mid cap and large cap. So have mid caps become overpriced? The key element to consider is we are also in that part of the cycle, right, like in 2003, where we are at the beginning of an industrial economic recovery with GDP growth going back up to the high single digits and the economy, driving single stock. So if you look at the earnings growth, see the first phase of a market movement in a bull cycle beginning is the valuation gap catch up, okay? But the second phase and the third phase are actually the profitability rising much faster than the earlier periods. So if you look, for example, today PE ratios are about 16, 17, you would say, and are very high. But if you look at our mid-cap fund and you take up our projections of the earnings of those companies, it's 40% per annum over the next 2 years. So if there's going to be a 40% earnings growth rate, right, even if PEs don't change, you're going to see a very healthy return growth rate. And then when that happens, right, when these profitability parameters improve, these companies' balance sheets improve, their financial leverage improves, hence their ratings go down. So then they become kind of double whammy of operating leverage from increasing sales and financial leverage from reducing debt, right? Their financials become better, and so their P rating then begins to go up a notch higher because of the better quality financials. So in the phase 3, you will again see a valuation rise because of the better quality of these companies. So I think market phases happen in cycles. In 2003 to 8, over that 5-year period, I think the Sensex went up about 5.5 times, mid cap went up 9 times, small cap went up 14 times. But in the first year, they showed 100%. Small caps showed 100% return even in then. But over a 5-year period, they still delivered 80%, 90% per annum. So just because there's been 100% in year 1 doesn't mean that you feel that the market is overvalued and is going to correct. It's just that the rate of growth may pan down, but over a 5-year period, you'll still get phenomenal returns if you hold on through this phase. I'm sorry, a very long, elaborate reply, but I hope I did cover all the points that you raised.
No, you did. And that was useful. Thanks very much, Mr. Subramanian. We'll leave it there for now, and appreciate your answers and replies. As always, good having you with us here. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
All right, let's take a look at the Nifty and the Sensex. 40 points off on the Nifty, about 92 odd points off on the Sensex is what you've got. So there is a bit of a cut which is now slowly showing up on the market. Let's see what's happening.